You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Welcome to Rom Wills About That Business. Spiraling in business. You know what? I mean, I'm never going to give how much money I make in a particular month because, well, quite frankly, it's my business and sometimes the IRS's business. And and I do mean sometimes their business. But the thing is, I've noticed one of the things I do, and I learned this while working retail, I do month-to-month comparisons. Like, I looked back in January of 2019, I looked back to see what I made in January of 2018. In February of 2019, I looked back to see what I made in February of 2018. You know, and last month, March, I looked back to see what I made in March of 2018, right? And you know what's interesting? Well, excuse me. Wow. I'm just going to leave it on there. I don't feel like editing it out. Anyway, right? One of the things, that you can do by it, you can get an idea of how things going, because what's going to happen depending on the season, and especially depending on whether you're selling products or not, you're going to have high periods and low periods. So, the comparison is like, okay, you want to do better the next year than you did the year before. That's the benchmark. Now, I had a benchmark that I set in 2018, and I surpassed it in 2019. So next year in 2020, I need to do even better. That's the goal. Now, it's good for that, but it also gives you an idea about spiraling. Now, what is spiraling? Now, spiraling is something I might have mentioned on my Deep Thought channel, which is just really constantly moving up. It's like a spiral staircase. You want to constantly move up, and it's something that you go through on a yearly basis, right? So, like, whatever is going on with you one year, you need to be better off the next year. Now, if you're not better off the next year, that means you're spiraling down, right? That's how you do it. That's how you check it. That's how you measure stuff, especially in business. Because the main thing in business is to do better than you did the year before. That's the main thing. And at a minimum, at least do the same thing you did the year before. But that means if you do that, that means you're not innovating. Remember, a lot of stuff I talk about, like innovating, looking for new things, getting more customers. If you do the exact same thing you did the year before or go down, something's wrong somewhere and you need to look into it. Like if you start spiraling down, you're not making as much, you need to say, okay, what's going on? Is my customer service good? Is my product still relevant? What's going on with the economy? Right? And it's not necessarily you, but you got to look at all factors, especially the overall economy. Like many people are predicting a recession. A lot of people are going to be hit depending on where they're at. All right? Now, my business is basically like knowledge. Only way I see it dipping down is if I just, for whatever reason, pull back. Because people always want knowledge. As some people pointed out, I'm more of a life coach than a dating coach. So people always need to know how to live life. But everybody might not have it that way, right? Like, for example, say if you're a plumber, you want to do better than the year before. But if you don't, you got to look at it. It's like maybe some in the economy hit and people couldn't deal with it. Or a lot of people have businesses that I would consider non-essential. Yeah, they were making money with it, but it's always something that people spend money on if they have a surplus, right? And yeah, FYI, everybody has their dream, but always keep that in mind. If you don't have a business that's dealing with a surplus or that dealing with a basic that people need, you could be in trouble, right? You could be in trouble, and that's... Like, people always going to have to eat. If you have a good place, like a good restaurant or something, you always make money, or a grocery store or something that's located at the right spot, or a food market. That's one thing. We don't have those little food places like we used to. But that's something to consider. Or if you're trying to sell, like, smoothies or something, but the neighborhood doesn't really support it, it's stuff like that. But getting back to the spiraling thing, you always want to move forward. And that's how you track it on a yearly basis. It's not something you track day to day. It's not something you track day to day. I mean, you can. You can if you like. If you want to like say, okay, I made this much on this day, you know, on this day, April 2nd, 2018. And now this is how much I made on April 2nd, 2019. You can do that. And that's actually what a lot of retail places do. Reason I do it differently is just is how my money comes. I tend to get money in lump sum. So personally, I do about a month. All right. I do about a month. The way my stuff is set up, I'm not really going to get a daily thing. So I don't count it like that. All right. But however you want to count, you could count it every 6 months. Shoot, you can just count it once a year, what you're doing, you know. But you still want an idea. You still want an idea. You know, you can count it by customers. You could say, well, on April 2nd, 2018, my business had 20 steady customers, right? Like if you in some like service provider or something like a massage therapist or something like that. But on April 2nd, 2019, I have 100 steady customers and I have to like expand and hire some people to help deal with the overflow, right? That's spiraling. So you want to focus on the ability to spiral. You always want it to get better. That's why you always want to improve. You always want to have a mind to improve what you're doing, right? So anyway, that's all I got for now. Let's go make that money.